Welcome to a 5-minute deck breakdown today featuring Keg Control, what I'm calling 3.0. Most likely it's the 10th version of Keg Control. Recently, Kindred got a really nice buff, and now they have a completely different mana cost. A little bit less health, but they come down a turn earlier, which is super, super important. This lets them sit on the 4 cost instead of the 5 cost like Viego, and pairing it with Viego is actually pretty viable. We've seen this a couple times with Ionia now, and Ionia is doing really well and just to control the board and let you really just protect both your heroes very, very well. But I really like the synergy that Kegs provide with Viego. You need allies to die for Viego to actually activate his ability, and one way to do that is let your Kegs sacrifice themselves and boost your damage as you do it. So in this deck, our main purpose is just a pack filled with, just a ton of removal, and use kegs to boost that removal's damage, like Withering Wail, the Box, Vile Feast, Make It Rain, and the list goes on. As we just completely annihilate our opponent's threats, with this huge removal package, we'll be slowly building Viego up and up as more mist are summoned with Viego himself, the Camaverian Soldier, and of course the Invasive Hydravine. As those get larger and larger and we stall out the game as we're destroying our opponent's units, we can get to the point where we can threaten with massive attack ephemeral units with the Mist, as well as threaten with Atrocity to end the game with one of those massive ephemerals. So for mulligans, really, it's a control deck. We want to make sure we're controlling the board very well. If you're going against something aggro or mid-range, you really want to have solid control. So we don't really need our champions, but we definitely need the Dreadway Deckhand or the Camaverian Soldier or the Petty Officer. All three of those, especially the last two, will give us 2 blockers if you really need, or the alternative of just giving us some kegs with the Deckhand and the Petty Officer, which can help us boost our damage of something like Make It Rain and Withering Wail, which will do massive damage across the board, helping us remove a plethora of threats. On the flip side, as far as units, talking about spells we really want to keep Make It Rain and Vile Feast. Those two are extremely important control tools here. Vile Feast gives us a unit, Make It Rain can hit multiple units. And if you don't have a ton of early drops and you want to save your mana early, which you most likely want to do anyway, unless you're being really pressured, keeping something like a Withering Wail isn't the worst either. Normally, I don't want to keep them, line them up. Line them up is good later in the game when you want to drop it and really quick. All of a sudden, now you have an extra keg as you're casting Withering Wail at burst speed, which will give you the synergy of having an ally die for Viego, and also the synergy of now you get make sure you can get a kill with that extra damage with Kindred out, so then they can level up. So all that's pretty important. Again, it's a control deck at heart, and that's what you want to do. Its strengths are against mid-range style decks and aggro style decks. We have a lot of healing and a lot of removal, so we can really use that to our advantage to sustain our way into the late game and then build up that encroaching mist army that we have that Viego loves to lead, and then finish the game through that. I think the deck has a few different flex spots. I've been playing a lot with it. Obviously, the box as just a one-of. You can definitely alter that. I actually had the Astral Fox in here for a while. It can kill an ally unit to deal damage to the Nexus. Really good on kegs. You can target a keg yourself and then deal 4 damage to the enemy Nexus. That's a good finishing reach tool. And I'm not sure we really need 3 Withering Wails or 2 Atrocities. We could probably cut one of either of those as well. But the thing really is that Withering Wail just does so much work. It with a keg, doing 2 to everything, or 2 kegs doing 3 to everything, really helps solidify a lot of matchups and win us a lot of games that way. And with only just 1 atrocity, I did find myself sometimes not having the final push of damage that I would really need with this deck. So I think I want to keep 2, but again, I would say the flex spots are definitely the box and a Withering Wail. You can also possibly cut 1 line 'em up or 1 Petty Officer, so you can play with those things. If you're not familiar with the style of deck, I definitely would encourage you to check it out. It's a really, really fun deck to play. Shadow Isles and Bilgewater together make this really fun control style and there's so much keg synergy in there that it leads you to have some crazy lines of play, and it's just absolutely a blast. So if you haven't checked this deck out, make sure to check it out. The code's below. Hopefully this helps you pilot a little bit for your first few games. And like always, if you can leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel, it'll help us keep us going. Until next time.